What's up, YouTube? This is Caleb with Pagel Services, and today we're going to give you guys a little shop tour. So this is our shop in Stitzer, Wisconsin, where we run our landscaping and lawn care business out of. Let's take you guys around and show you guys what we work with and how our operations kind of go. So this entire building is 40 by 120. And when I purchased this property, all that was here was 7 storage units, and that 30 by 40 was here. It wasn't insulated, it wasn't tin, it was just kind of a shell of a building. We purchased the property, intended on building a shop here, and it took us about a year after purchasing the property go forward with building the shop. So this is actually just a pole shed. It is on a thickened slab. So this entire slab is 6 inches thick of concrete, and all the way around the edges is 12 inches thick. And also another keynote is the only place that there's rebar in this entire floor is around the edges and around the doors. Other than that, there is no rebar. It was 100 yards of concrete, and we put fiber mesh in it. It actually worked out really well. This floor's held up excellent. It's been here probably 4 years. And we've never had any issues with it. So we had the Amish put up the actual structure of the building, and I had a door company come and install the doors. Basically everything else I kind of did myself, me and a couple buddies. Let's walk through here and I'll show you guys some of the key features and things that we did to kind of make this best suitable for our business. And when I built this shop, I knew that I wanted it to be tall. So this 40 by 80 is 18 tall. You could pull a dump truck in, raise the bed, not all the way obviously. And then also we do have a paint booth in here. So we put the paint booth right here, and it's inflatable. If you guys paint a lot of stuff and you don't want to make a mess in your shop, I highly encourage you to buy an inflatable paint booth because they work amazing. Here's a little picture of that, which is pretty handy. I suppose this winter we'll probably have to do a video on the inflatable paint booth. We usually do a lot of painting in March, right before the season starts in April. So as you can see here, we have a jib crane. I'll put a picture in the video of what that looked like before we poured the concrete, so you can kind of see. All we did was dug a big hole, and then I made this jib for the bolts and made this steel frame. So that giant hole is full of concrete, and I'm pretty sure that's not going anywhere. So this is really convenient for lifting oil barrels out of trucks or taking the salters in and out of the trucks. This works excellent. And it is actually a 3-phase crane, and I had to buy a 3-phase inverter on eBay, and surprisingly that works somehow. I don't know how that works, but it was only like 150 bucks. And if you've ever looked up these Hoist cranes, a lot of the old ones are 3-phase, and they don't work in your single-phase shop, so you can sometimes get away with just getting an inverter. We do have this flexible airline ran throughout the shop. Got hose reels here and there. That stuff actually went up pretty well. I've been pretty impressed with it. We've never had an issue with it. This is our furnace. So we burn waste oil. This is our primary heat. I don't have any other heat source in here. And this has been a great investment. This was $5 grand. I mean, we really don't have a fuel bill, a heating bill in the winter time. And some of these winters can pretty much suck, like this winter. We haven't hardly had any snow. Definitely pays for itself. We don't produce enough waste oil to completely heat us all season long. So we do have some contacts and some friends and stuff that bring us used waste oil, and works out pretty good. So, but this is our setup. So I have all the used waste oil. I put it in these totes, or the customer does. I then run it to this hose, and it's just on a valve, and then it runs into the tank here. It's pretty convenient. It's not a super huge mess. We don't have oil all over the place. This is our oil station here. where all of our oils and fluids. I built this thing here. This is just kind of a drain for everything. But we got window wash, we got truck wash soap, ATF, 50/50 coolant. This is our 1030 we use in all the gas trucks, and this is our Rotella 1540 that we use in all of our diesel applications. I purchased all this pallet racking, and I was kind of being a tight ass and didn't want to buy a bunch of stuff, so we actually just made these little holders for these barrels. We made them in-house. It's not perfect, but it's worked out pretty well. Another nice thing that we did was we made part of this pallet racking here a bench. So I had a steel company bend this piece of steel, and we just put it right on the pallet racking down here. That's worked excellent. As you can see, we keep all of our oils and our products that we use on that table. Obviously, we store a bunch of odds and ends underneath. That's our sandblasting stuff, and I always keep a pallet of water on hand. Hydraulic oil. This is our parts washer. We don't use that a ton. We do go through a lot of black fluid film. We do spray the plows, the salters, the trucks down with that stuff pretty religiously, so keeps everything from rusting out so bad. Workbenches, toolboxes, that's pretty standard for any shop. You got to keep this stuff organized. If there's one thing that I hate, it's an unorganized, cluttered shop. When something breaks down, I want us to be able to pull it in here, know where everything's at, get it fixed, and do it as stress-free as possible. So I'm pretty hard on my guys as far as clutter and keeping shit out of here. I've had a few guys over the years that worked for me, guys that like to save stuff, save old parts, and I understand in some aspects of life or some businesses maybe that works, but for me, sometimes it's easier just to go get a new part and forget about it and put it on, no worries. So as you can see here, there's no clutter, you know, there's no shit sitting around. I can't stand that stuff. So next big thing here in this shop is our pressure washer. So we have a power jet hot pressure washer. I'll go upstairs and I'll show you guys that here in a minute. It's all plumbed down here, and it's right here. So this is super handy. Got your on-off switch, your heat switch. That's a 100-foot reel, and then I also have it plumbed down to the other side of the shop back there with another 50-foot reel and another pressure washer. I always like having our trucks and equipment clean. I cleaned a lot of trucks outside in the freezing cold at my last place where I started the business, and I always told myself, when I build a shop, I'm gonna be able to pull anything inside, pressure wash it, hot water. It just works excellent. So when I built this shop, another part of that whole washing process was I wanted a drain all the way down the floor, all the way. This is super nice for washing trucks and equipment. We can squeegee the floor. The debris gets built up in the drains. We got to clean them out twice a year, but that's no big deal. Another great thing that any shop should have is plenty of drains. I've been in shops where they got one little drain. You got to try to get everything there, but no, we can literally wash trucks all throughout this shop. It's really convenient. So obviously we got a truck hoist here as well. This has been a great investment. Another thing that I said, as soon as I have the space to put up a shop, I'm gonna buy me a hoist because I'm sick of working on the floor. You know, I worked on these trucks and equipment for a lot of years by myself with no help, and I was so sick and tired of working on the floor. If you get the chance to have a hoist, these are great. This is a 10,000 pound hoist. Pretty much picks up all our trucks, trailers, whatever we need to put on here. And working on that is just a lifesaver. As you can see here, I have a nice mezzanine upstairs, and I built that all myself as well. I was on Marketplace. This guy had these poles on there, these industrial size poles that were out of a warehouse. Immediately grabbed cash and headed down to his place, and he had a ton of these. I bought all these poles. I think I gave him $100 a pole, which was super cheap. And then he showed me that. So that pole there was $200, and then he sold me that I-beam with that tensioner rod for $100. So I left this guy's place with literally a whole trailer load of steel and I-beams and all this stuff. And I hadn't mapped any of this out. The only plans I had of it were in my head, and I knew what I needed. And I'll tell you what, these poles and those I-beams worked out excellent for building this mezzanine. A buddy of mine helped me build this, and it was a lot of late nights. It worked out excellent. So we have an office up there, and then we have parts and storage, air compressor, and pressure washer up there. So let's go up there quick. I'll show you guys that. We built these stairs, we built the railings. Everything's pretty much in-house. We kind of did it all ourselves. I didn't have a ton of extra money building this stuff, so I tried to do everything I could by myself. So this here used to be my office. As you can see, this is where I used to hang. Well, this is kind of embarrassing, but right now it's just kind of a storage space anymore. We purchased an office space in Fenimore now, so we don't really have to use this anymore. Let's just say it was pretty cramped in here. By the time you get your computer and all your files, everything, it was a pain in the ass, but it worked for a couple years. So then up here, this is also a mess, kind of embarrassing. I don't like things like this, but it is what it is. So these are all of our parts, a lot of materials shop. This is air line, that's air line, this is water line. It's kind of organized. This is like a truck shelf. This is skid loader parts, trucks, trailers. This is supposed to be lawn mowers, lights, air fittings, water fittings. There's just a lot of odds and ends up here, and it drives me crazy. I wish we had a better way to organize this stuff. This is a new air compressor that we bought late this fall. I had the same old air compressor for like 10 years, and it was finally time to upgrade. I'd been putting it off for a long time because this was like $6,000–7,000 bucks. Well worth it in my opinion. This one has the exhaust back there, keeps it quiet, and then it does have an auto drain, which is super nice. Like every 10 minutes it drains outside. This is our pressure washer. It's a power jet. I've had zero issues with this. I think we've been here 4 years and we use the shit out of this. Last I knew was a company out of Canada. This thing has been excellent. Gets up to 200 degrees. I really can't complain about it at all. I think it's 3,500 PSI, 4 gallon a minute. This I did have to run a natural gas line outside, but I was gonna put a natural gas heater in here, but I didn't want a gas bill in the winter time. This kind of gives you a pretty good view of the lights. So after I built this shop, started putting electrical in, I realized that lights are super expensive. So I found these. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen these. These are the Amazon special. When I bought these, they were 20 bucks a stick. I wired them up all myself. They all run down to outlets, and then we have all the outlets on switches. Cheap, yes. Not the best, obviously, but they've worked. And really, we've only had like half a dozen, maybe 6 or 8 of them go out. 2 down there that are out right now. But I mean, like, seriously, we haven't had hardly any issues with those at all in the 4 years. I mean, if we say 6 or 8 bulbs, and they're 20 bucks to replace, so we got a bunch of extra ones up there. I think they're really good, cheap light for the budget. So we can head back downstairs. You know, we used to send guys out with these every day, paperwork orders and a lot of those things. In the last 2 years, we've switched to mainly everything is electronic now, so they have tablets in the trucks. We've been utilizing technology quite a bit in that aspect. So bolts, nuts and bolts, screws, some few extra stuff, but we are slowly transitioning out of this, and we are transitioning into actually having a company that comes and fills all this stuff, which this is super nice. The guy comes here once a month, fills everything, and makes sure we have all the stuff we need. So if you own a small business or you're starting a business, one thing you're going to find out is trying to cut expenses everywhere you can. This may sound stupid, but if you send a guy to the hardware store 2 or 3 times a day when you're working on stuff to get bolts, screws, it will cost you so much more in the end. You got to have this stuff on hand. If I wanted to wire up another plow truck today, I mean, I know for sure I would have everything I need as far as bolts, wiring, switches, battery terminals, everything you need, gotta have it on hand. And there that air compressor's running, just pretty quiet actually, so that's kind of nice. You know, all this stuff can be expensive when you're starting out, you know, 10 years into the business, you know, and we're just now transitioning into having bolts and hardware and all that stuff stocked and have someone come and fill it. If you're starting a business, don't think you got to have all that stuff right away. This is our bathroom here. So same thing, I built this whole thing myself. Pretty simple. Chitter, we keep all of our paints and supplies in here. Not the best, but it works out. We got the steel rack. That was just something I built one night, just out of some scrap steel. You know, we go through a lot of cutting edges. We do quite a bit of fabrication here as far as building things. I basically have everything we need here. Nice torch, bandsaw, drill press. We got a plasma cutter. For any of you guys that need a cheap plasma cutter, I'll tell you right now, these ones on eBay from China, whatever, they're only 400 bucks, but I'm telling you, that thing will cut 3/4 inch steel, no problem. Hobart welder, I've never had an issue with that. That thing is great. This table, which has been an awesome investment. I bought this table like 12 years ago for 500 bucks from a guy. I wouldn't sell this thing today for 3 grand. This thing has just been amazing. We can put anything on there. It came out of an old factory. So for welding, fabricating, gotta have a good table. Airline ran back here. We got a pressure washer back here as well. This little jib crane, kind of the same thing. When we built this, I had a bigger hole down there for the concrete. Gave the guy 100 bucks for that pole, 100 bucks for that pole. Welded them together. And you know, this one's not electric, but we don't use this one very much. Mainly for the mowers, but then again, the mowers have moved to a different shop, so the mowing crew doesn't really work out of here anymore. We have a shit ton of Milwaukee batteries. All of our trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, hedge trimmers, everything is Milwaukee. Like 2 years ago, we switched from gas to Milwaukee. We literally have an assload of chargers and batteries everywhere. All the electrical I did myself, which that was an absolute nightmare. And to be honest with you, I don't want anything to do with electrical ever again, because this was a ton of late nights, ton of research and trying to figure it out. But literally all these outlets in here, all the plugs for the hoist, the power for the air compressor, the power for the pressure washer, I did that all myself, and it was a lot. But at the time, didn't have a lot of money. There's no way I could have hired someone, so we got it done. Same with the water lines. I've got water there and down there. So this is our whiteboard, which is a must-have for any business with multiple employees. This is super nice for planning out your weeks. You got 10, 15 employees coming in. I got all their names on little magnet cards down there. Equipment on magnet cards. Come in Monday morning, you can walk right over here, and most of the time we have things organized, work orders up here, everything ready to go. This is a great investment. If you, like I said, if you got more than a couple employees and you're trying to organize things, a whiteboard is a must-have for this kind of business. We like these US General carts. This one is all cleaning supplies. No tools, so we like to keep our trucks clean, detail the inside of them, make them nice. That's all cleaning supplies. Got a fridge, probably full of water. Yeah, nothing crazy. Some old beef sticks. Caleb's bubbler. That's all I drink is bubbler. We got a car wash car wash vacuum. That's been pretty nice to have. That's about it for this shop, and I just want to explain to you guys that it wasn't always like this. When I started the business, I had a house and I had a 40 by 40 garage. I'm going to put a picture up in here so you guys can see. And out of this 40 by 40 garage is where I started the business. It's where I worked on all the trucks. It's where I painted plows. It's where I painted trailers. It's where I did all the work. I pressure washed the trucks outside in the freezing rain. People would drive by and laugh at me. And I just kept doing it. and kept working towards this goal. It took a lot of years, a lot of late nights, a lot of 100-hour weeks, lost a lot of friends, lost some relationships, but building a business isn't easy, and it's gonna take everything out of you. This was a big dream of mine to build this shop. As of right now, I don't see myself building another shop, maybe someday, but this one does us well. The only thing that I would change is instead of having doors where this is drive-through, I would rather have like 8 bays. Have 8 doors on one side and the trucks pull in this way. I feel like workflow and working on different projects would be a little easier. The other thing too is after we get done plowing snow, we pull all 10 of these plow trucks in here, all the doors wide open, and we got to thaw all these trucks out. And that furnace will definitely do that. I insulated this whole building myself, so I know the insulation's good. I rolled out the walls. The ceiling was all blown in. Ton of work. So anyways, let's walk outside here. I'll give you guys a quick look at the outside of the building. You go out this door, pallet racking. This is where I put all the snow plows in the summertime. We put them up on this pallet racking. That's our salt shed. I built that as well. Those are the storage units that have been here since I purchased the property. So I've always had those rented out, so it's always paid for the property. When I got this property, I said, no more going to the gas stations. We're done doing that. We're getting fuel on site. So huge savior there. I hate the guys going to the gas stations. It takes forever. It's a pain in the ass. Fuel here. So we got equipment stacked up everywhere, trucks parked everywhere. Things are kind of a cluster right now. We ain't making no money. It is what it is. It's part of the winter time. We knew it was going to happen. So this is basically our back lot where everything gets parked in the summertime. I have 3 storage sheds down there, semi-trailers, which we house a lot of our materials, straw, 2x4s, tools, a couple of rust-free beds from Texas sitting up there in case anybody decides to back into anything. We usually keep our dirt stockpile there, which that's what that is. It's covered up. That's all screened topsoil, and then we keep our plows along here. This is kind of an outside look at the building. This is a residential home right there, and that's a residential home right there. This is all commercial property here. So it is kind of a pain in the ass for the neighbors. For the most part, we get along, and we try to be as kind of courteous as possible, but we still have a business to run, and there's still nights where we're here at midnight banging around the skid loader. So we put this pallet racking out here. Obviously it's all on concrete. I had to build this little wall here to raise the elevation to build the shop. Yeah, that's about it. Let's go back inside. It's getting a little chilly out here. And another good point that I want to make is we don't use this as a storage unit. As I said earlier, when I want to pull something in and fix it, I don't want to have to move shit out. We keep our shop open and clean like this year-round. This time of year, I'll keep 2 salt trucks in here ready to go. If there's a big snowstorm coming, we'll pull all the trucks in, get them all heated up nice, get them all ready to go. I mean, this shop gets packed full of trucks, pretty tight. For the most part, I like to keep it open. We could pull a truck and trailer in right now if I wanted to and work on it. I feel like that's the way a shop should be. I don't want to use it as a storage unit. I see a lot of guys do that, and I don't understand why you build a big shop workspace and then store trucks and trailers in it. Doesn't make any sense. If we had to go salt right now, we could be out the door, salting them in 20 minutes and on the road ready to go. Kind of wrap up this video. Again, thanks for the 1,000 subscribers. Just to kind of give you guys a little bit of backstory. All of us here at Pagel Services like to joke around, have a good time, you know, enjoy work as much as possible. We just decided this summer that we should record some of this and see if people enjoy watching it. But there's a little snow in the forecast for next week. And if we can get some snow and get our camera crew out there, I think we can make you guys some really good, excellent videos that you'll enjoy watching. So stick around, make sure to subscribe. Thanks. We'll see you in the next one.